Hey there, friends on the Melonfonk channel. In this video, we're going to talk about some secret facts about the 29.5 update in Melon Playground. But before we start, I'd like to say a huge thanks to these and these guys for being in my video. And if you want to be in my next video, just follow this incredibly simple rule. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, like the video, and write a cool comment. It's incredibly simple. Well, I won't waste any more of your time. Enjoy the video. So dear friends, update 29.5 is finally out. If you don't have this update yet, you can download it from my Telegram channel. The link will be in the description of this video. The update has just been released, but we've already found a couple of interesting facts about it. And if you found any really good bugs, myths, or facts, feel free to leave a comment. The best comments will be featured in my next video. So let's take it one step at a time and move on to the first fact. Lightning can literally pass through any character, and it really works. It sounds strange, of course, but take a look at your screens right now. If you direct lightning below a character, namely into the ground, then damage to NPCs and items will not pass through at all. And it looks incredibly strange. Why the developers allowed this bug, and I think it's obvious to everyone that it's a bug, I don't know. Basically, all questions should be directed to the developers. But it really works, and if you don't believe me, be sure to go into the game yourself and try it out. I think you'll be really surprised. Lightning didn't actually bring any new mechanics as it might seem at first glance. In essence, it's just a mixture of explosion and electrical damage, so when you direct the explosion into the ground, it doesn't just pass through the NPC. And to be honest, this was a little disappointing because I thought lightning would be some kind of separate, interesting element with completely different mechanics, but in fact, the developers cheated a little in this regard. I don't know if it's good or bad, but in essence, they repeated themselves by simply mixing these two mechanics. So it is precisely because of these properties of lightning that we get a strange fact. I think this will surprise you in any case, so let's move on to the next fact. The following fact seems obvious, but I would like to tell you about it anyway. If lightning strikes water, the water will essentially conduct electricity and damage will be transferred through the water to your NPC. I think this is a well thought out and competent move by the developers. It's quite expected, and overall it's very cool that it actually works. So if you want to hide your NPC in water during a thunderstorm in Melon Playground, this is not the best way to protect your friend because in fact, it is the water that will cause the death of your NPC. Well, let's move on to the next fact. There is an incredible number of different syringes in Melon Playground, and there is one syringe that is responsible for protection against electricity. And it would seem that as soon as you inject the syringe into an NPC, it will essentially be protected from lightning. But I'm sorry to disappoint you, because it doesn't work that way at all. This is because, as I mentioned earlier, the lightning mechanic in Melon Playground is such that the developers simply combined explosions and electricity and essentially created their own supposedly new element. That's why the syringe doesn't protect against lightning at all, because NPCs simply die from the explosion. Electricity may not cause any damage, but the explosion definitely contributes to the destruction of our NPC. I think few people noticed, but it's such an interesting fact, and just an interesting observation about tornadoes. Only 4 tornadoes can appear on the map at the same time. And no matter how much you want to spawn more, it won't happen. I tried spawning more in various ways, on pause, in slow motion, in the slowest motion, and unfortunately, nothing worked. So 4 is the maximum number of tornadoes that can appear on the map. It may be possible to change this number through the game files, but unfortunately, I haven't found a way to do so. If any of you are skilled enough to disable the restrictions on the number of tornadoes on the map, please write about it in the comments. Now let's move on to the next fact. Well, this fact is just very interesting, and unfortunately it's not about this update, but rather about the past. But still, the fact is insanely cool, and you really haven't seen anything like this before. In fact, I found it completely by accident. If you shoot at staffs with a pinball gun, the effects of the staffs will be transmitted at a distance equal to the range of the pinball gun. It sounds incredibly confusing, so take a look at your screens right now. If we shoot a pinball gun at I don't know, let's say a regular ghost staff, the pinball gun will immediately turn into a ghost and disappear, regardless of the distance. Basically, this works with any staff. The pinball gun can glow and appear in another place, but the only thing it can't do is turn into a mutant. And I think it's clear why, because the mutation staff only works on living NPCs. But overall, this is just an incredibly cool fact, and you can play around with it endlessly because it's really interesting. I think absolutely none of you knew this fact, but if you're some kind of genius and you knew this fact, then you'll really surprise me. And if you know about it, write about it in the comments, but I'm 100% sure you didn't know about it. And if you didn't know, then like this video right now and subscribe to my channel. Well, let's move on to the next fact. Well, this is more like a very strange bug. Maybe you should tell the developers about it so they can fix it. As soon as the vehicle gets caught in a tornado, the controller starts flashing, and it is impossible to control it in any way, no matter how hard you try. In general, this is just a bug that the developers are probably not aware of right now. I will definitely tell them about it because it's strange, and to be honest, it definitely needs to be fixed because overall it looks really ugly, and it shouldn't be like that in any game. I would really like the developers to fix this, and it's just a bug that when a vehicle gets caught in a tornado, the controller lights up and the ropes are immediately visible. Overall, this shows why this particular controller looks so awkward in the vehicle, and again, this shouldn't be the case. I think the developers should make it more accurate. There should be no ropes and no controllers visible after some strange interactions. In general, what do you think about this? Write in the comments. Well, let's move on to the last fact. And finally, a rather amusing fact, perhaps not about this update, but about water, lightning, and underwater explosions in general. You can essentially use explosions to levitate NPCs above the water, and all you need to do is detonate lightning underwater and the NPC will float on its own. Overall, it's just a funny fact, and to be honest, I really smiled and was surprised today when I tried it by accident. I didn't plan to include this fact in this video, but it just happened. I think that if you try it, you'll like it too, and you'll get stuck for several tens of minutes just exploding water underwater. By the way, let's do a challenge. How many minutes in a row can you levitate an NPC above the water without dropping it into the water? Basically, it's a challenge to do shopping pong with an NPC above the water. Overall, it's a bit strange, but I think it will be fun if you take part. What do you think about it? Write in the comments. Well, that's it for my video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Good luck, everyone, and see you soon, my friend. As always, we'll see each other in a few days.